Welcome to W.I.N with Richardson Richardson. What's important now? Success in business most often comes down to hard work, not by silver bullets and quick fixes. It's knowing where to focus that hard work that's key to winning. Join sales prospecting expert and 3-time seven-figure business founder Carrie Richardson and managing partner of R&R Consulting and former owner of Doberman Technologies, Ian Richardson, for radical honesty regarding strategic planning, accountability, and execution that will get you the systematic results you're working toward. Let's get into today's episode. Thought leader and your host, Ian Richardson.
Hello and welcome to W.I.N. I'm your host, Ian Richardson from Richardson Richardson Consulting, and today I am joined by my friend and personal superhero, Dr. Larry Little. Larry, how are you today?
I'm fine, Ian. You're my hero. That's what I want to say. It's so good to be with you. Thanks for allowing me to hang out for a bit.
Oh, thank you for taking the time. It's my pleasure and privilege. Dr. Larry Little is a seasoned visionary, author, entrepreneur, and executive coach. Functioning as the principal partner and the CEO of Eagle Consulting, the Eagle Center for Leadership, and the Enrichment Center Group, he walks with leaders both nationally and internationally. His executive coaching footprint spans from Kashmir, India to Washington, D.C. He's a much sought after speaker and conference leader, and speaking from my personal spot in the sandbox as someone who has seen every session he did at the HTG or IT Nation Evolve peer groups, you don't want to miss it. The Eagle Center for Leadership's approach is rooted in the power of relationships, understanding one's own personality and the personalities of those who you're leading. His work focuses on challenging leaders to strategically perform at a higher level in order to make a difference. Larry, you've written multiple books. You've spoken all over the world. You've coached all over the world. Your team's everywhere. So the opening question that I have for you is, when do you find time to sleep?
That's a great question. You know, they did keep me busy. And I keep telling them, Ian, I don't understand it. I keep telling them, I said, look, guys, it looks like where I am, I ought to be slowing things down. You know, I ought to be kind of taking it easy. And they just say, no, you keep your head down and keep pedaling. I'm like, okay, guys, fine.
That's like the marathoners, the marathoners mantra is just one foot in front of the other, keep on running.
We have a lot of fun. It's really, the truth is, when you do something you love, it's really not work. And we have an incredible team, and they allow me to do what I love, and I hope that I help them to do what they love, and so it's a lot of fun right now. It truly is.
That resonates really, really hard with me. The concept of when you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like work. You and I have spent quite a bit of time together today already, and that's been a common theme, which it makes my heart happy to hear you feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we follow a format here. I'm a process guy. For anyone who's spent more than 10 minutes with me, everyone knows that Ian loves his process, and I always like to talk about challenges, achievements, and opportunities with my time together with other entrepreneurs and leaders. And we had talked before we started the show about a challenge that you and the team are working on. And that challenge from your standpoint as the CEO is both how to keep your offerings, your content, your deliverables, your interactions with people fresh, but even more so, how to make sure to remain relevant. Can you talk to us about that and how you guys are tackling the challenge?
Yeah, it really is one of the most exciting and difficult and purposeful things that I think we do here at Eagle, and that is this: as I look out at what we've done. We'll talk a little bit about that in the achievements, but I see these companies and organizations that we work with across the world who truly are continuing to struggle in new and unique areas, whether it's from the pandemic, whether it's from the economy, whether it's from whatever's going on right now culturally, and our purpose is we've got to be relevant to help them because, and it goes back to what our, why do we do what we do, right? What is our mission? Why do we do this? We truly want to walk with leaders. We truly want to make a difference in the lives of leaders. How can you make a difference if you're not purposeful or relevant in their life? So we go back and we look and we say, what was relevant? Forget 10 years ago, forget 5 years ago. What was relevant 2 years ago, is not relevant now. And how do we provide the services that we need to provide that will help to speak into the lives of these leaders? And what got us here won't get us there, as they say. So
Yep.
it's a challenge. It's not an easy thing, and it's incredibly important, but it's what I spend my time really, really looking at these days.
That's such a powerful statement. The concept of you don't have to go back a decade. Where coming from my background, one of the easiest metaphors I'd always say to someone is I'd hold up a cell phone and I'd say, think about 10 years ago and what this looked like. That's the speed of change in technology. But today, post pandemic, the world has fundamentally shifted. The world has fundamentally changed to where everything is different. There's work from home. There's distributed workforces. There's these screens that are now ruling our lives and creating relevancy in today's market. It's it just tossed the rule book out. We're writing a new cookbook as we go.
No, that's exactly it. You go in and you have to go, what are the needs today, that we didn't even know about before? And finding solutions to help meet some of those needs. It takes a different kind of thinking. If I think like I thought, 5 years ago in terms of creating solutions, we would be behind the curve. So, coaching. I'll give you an example. Leadership coaching. It's a great thing. I mean, the concept we've built our practice on, and we coach all over the world, and we'll do, I don't know, 15,000 or so sessions this year with our team. They do great things. But how we do coaching today will not work for how we need to be doing coaching 3 years from now. We've got to assess that, and we've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable with finding new ways to speak into the lives of leaders. So,
yeah, I'm stealing that phrase, Larry, that we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That is 100% consider it swiped. Which,
good. Glad.
For those of you who aren't familiar with that acronym, steal with intentionality and pride every day. Consider it swiped.
I love it.
So thinking about that, as you guys have been working on this challenge, and we just talked about the pandemic, there was a pretty impressive achievement, and you had mentioned a story, and so I don't want to take the wind out of that story, but rewind us back to 2020 and talk about the story of what your team and you started to do and what you've accomplished and where that's led you to today.
Yeah. So we're back in February of 2020, and they're talking about this thing called COVID, and things are not quite yet, but almost shutting down. They're moving in that direction. And as you've mentioned before, I do a lot of traveling, and I had been traveling, kind of doing what I do and run at the pace I run, and I found myself with COVID. And one of the first, I wasn't early on. In fact, the doc didn't even know what it was for a while. He was treating me for mountain sickness, but so thankful for what he did and how he helped me. He's my physician, but I was pretty sick, and it hit me relatively hard. So I would get up and try to do these meetings, and we would do them virtually. And we'd been doing some virtual coaching for years, and that was not new. But we're also a training organization, and we do seminars and conferences, and they take some of the books I've written, and we put them into seminars, and our team and we have around 30 or so facilitators who are doing a tremendous job of facilitating. But I never will forget, I was trying to think through this COVID thing. I was experiencing what it was doing. I knew that we were in for a game changer. And I told our team, I said, guys, I was meeting with them virtually because I had COVID. I said, guys, we've got to take every seminar we do, over 200 hours worth of seminar. I said, and I hate this word, but I said, we've got to pivot, because everybody used it, but we've got to pivot. We got to pivot to virtual seminars. And that sounds simple, but our seminars, well, you've been there, we're engaged. We talk, we really, relationships that's our thing. And we love building a relationship. So they looked at me like, you've got to be kidding. And we even kind of went round and round for a bit till finally I just said, I really, if you know my vernacular, I really lioned up. Now I became a lion and I said, hey guys, we're going to do this. I realize that it's not going to be easy, but I know you can do it. I believe you can do it. And then they took that challenge. They turned every seminar we had to virtual, so much so that during the pandemic, we continued to offer those leadership seminars virtually across the world. It was amazing to me. But they learned from that. And they learned that, hey, we can have online services perhaps like we've never thought of before. Now, fast forward to this year, we're back to, we're doing live engagements and live seminars, and they're doing a tremendous job of doing that. But they learned some things, and they've taken what they've learned, and now we have this hybrid approach where we've developed programs. We've developed online services combined with in-person engagements and seminars. They've learned how to take that and how to grow from that very hard experience. And I don't want to understate how hard it was to pivot those 200 and something hours of seminar work. But instead of doing that and saying, well, we did it, now let's check that box and move forward, they use that as a foundation. So far that this year, and I'm excited to say it looks like we're going to be around 30% growth this year. So, and it's because of our team. They ran to the hard thing. They did the hard thing. They learned from it. They built on it, and now we're seeing the results. Quite an achievement for this team, I think.
That the two achievements out there, the growth is always rewarding as an entrepreneur, as a shareholder, as a business stakeholder. Hey, the return on that investment. But even more so, I would imagine, knowing what I know about you and having interacted with you in the ways, I would imagine that probably equal to, if not surpassing, is that knowledge of look at what happened by running towards that hard thing and the results, and then seeing those learnings kind of almost go through the organization like a tsunami, like a wave, and saying, hey, this is touching every part of our organization and making us stronger, better, healthier, faster, more nimble, more relevant because of those takeaways. That's got to be rewarding in and amongst itself, even without the financial impact.
You've nailed it. You've just nailed it. To see the leadership muscle that has been developed and that has grown from that very difficult thing they did, but to see them take that and grow through that. And not just our leadership team. Our leadership team had to choose to lead it. They had to choose to go get it. But then the facilitators, our incredible admin team that had to, can you imagine how we had to change all of our materials and all the way that we did anything. And now they're comfortable doing that. Now they're comfortable creating content and that can be used from a hybrid approach, online and in person, and to see that growth, to see that change occur, it's been quite amazing. I'll be honest with you, I have a gift and I'm really, really good at it, and I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm pretty good at it. But I only have one gift, and that is that I know how to surround myself with people who are a lot better than I am. And to see this team around me, true statement, I mean, call it like it is. And they are so good. They have just grown so much, and they continue. Growth is one of our core values. And to see them grow and to see them develop as leaders, it's amazing to me. Yeah, I can get excited about it. You can tell.
Yeah, there's a concept around the learning cycle where we start off as novices and then go to apprentice and a journeyman and mastery, and then there's this fifth step that's always been a silent step that I think when you teach or coach or mentor or impart knowledge and see who was a former student now become a master, and they start being
Mm,
able to pass that knowledge
mm,
on. That's almost that's when the affirmation happens of look at what has happened that I played even a small part in. Look at that impact and that legacy and that forward momentum. That's it doesn't get better than that. That's
no,
that's the
no.
that's the peak of the mountain right there.
That's why we do what we do. That's exactly right.
And so thinking about what we're doing, that's a great segue. The third part is always the famous question of what's next. Thinking about that opportunity on the high line, and we've already been scratching on that surface a little bit with what we just talked about. What are you and your team focused on for the next opportunity?
Let me break that down for us, if I can, to two areas,
Absolutely.
externally and internally. And let me just briefly touch on the external because I want to tell you about the internal as well. But external is, so what are we doing next with our clients, with the people that we partner with, and we discovered a gap a couple of years ago, and we've been working on this. And the gap in our service area is that we see a need for results-driven kind of consulting, which means more of a tangible, let's go fix a problem. And we discovered that there were men and women out there who were in this season of their life where they wanted to take the knowledge. For instance, we've got a guy at 30 years in a multi-billion dollar huge international manufacturing company. Well, he was leading in that organization and led at different sites, and through his tenure developed a way to create a manufacturing excellence program. How do you measure that? All kinds of inventory things that I know nothing about. But he wanted to use that. So we created an assessment tool for him. We created a way for him to go into organizations and use that tool to bring solutions. We call it our business services division. It's more of a traditional consulting. We have a guy that was a retired police chief, and he developed a system to help businesses to understand what to do should you have an active shooter come on your premise. How do you assess for your security needs and make sure that your team members know what to do if a situation of danger arises? Well, we took that and we're building a tool for him. So I could go on, but externally we are really excited about our business services division that we're standing up around offering those consulting kinds of solutions to companies. Internally, we know that, well, our dear friend Brad Scow. You know Brad.
Oh yeah.
Brad is amazing. He's a brilliant guy. Just a dear friend of mine. He came up with a process called the entrepreneurial journey, and in that
Yes.
journey, he developed it. What a mind! But starts with muscle and feel and processes and systems, and then building teams. But at the end of that journey is the legacy piece, where you really kind of start looking at how can I leave and live that legacy and give back. And at Eagle, we realized that we are going, as you have said before, and as Arlen says, we're going to leave this business. It's just a matter of how, right? And you talked about that to me earlier today. But we wanted to be intentional about that, about this legacy piece. So we created a program called the SOAR, SOAR, just SOAR, which means we are investing in young leaders who are soaring to lead in our company. We're teaching them to soar. And these are the next generation leaders in our company. And we are investing resources, time, energy in them, and we're preparing them to lead us into the future. And we're preparing to give the reins over and create a runway. I believe in intentionality, Ian. I really don't do a whole lot in life that's not intentional. So I'm trying to intentionally provide this runway to say, okay, let's look at the next 3, 5, 10 years, and what does that look like as we raise up this next generation of leaders, and how can we equip them and get them ready? I'm so excited about that. I really am excited about our SOAR leaders.
Well, that's thinking about everything that the Eagle Center for Leadership does. This has got to be an exciting project for everyone in the organization, because as a mission where you're helping those leaders succeed and grow and develop and learn how to flex and build that leadership muscle, we're looking inward, we're looking in the mirror and saying, hey, let's learn and build and develop and flex that leadership muscle inwardly, because at some point we do have to pass that baton. We have to
That's right.
we have to shift out, and being able to create the space and work on that inward has to be more rewarding in certain ways than doing it for an external company, because that's someone that you walk alongside and talk with and speak with and celebrate with and mourn with every day. So being able to help that intimate partner, that intimate part of the business, has to be just an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it really is. I have a partner who is our president as well, and showing respect to her, to say, look, I want to make sure that we do this right, so that when I exit out, that you have a plan as well for what's next for you, and making sure that we're aligned in that, and then taking care of our people and allowing them to be a part of that, and allowing them to know that we do this together. This is your organization, and we think a little bit differently around here, Ian, and we truly all believe we're called to do this. And if we're called to do this, then it has to be purposeful, and we have to be able to build a trust in our relationships that we are here to take care of each other first, because if we can't take care of each other first, we certainly can't take care of leaders, across the country and across the world. So it is exciting. It is truly fulfilling. I'm looking forward to continuing that's a fluid thing. We're still building it. That's the opportunity is to continue we are actively engaging in conversation and talks right now, building that platform for our legacy, with our SOAR leaders and others as we move into this legacy season of leading.
I love that. If you're interested in learning more about the Eagle Center for Leadership, you can go to eaglecenterforleadership.com. There you can take the Make a Difference test, as well as some of the other assessments that Larry and his team have put together. And let me tell you that every time I take that, and every time I reread one of Larry's books, I take more away from it, not less.
Mm-hmm.
So my learnings increase over time, which could say something about me versus anything else. But they're on my frequently read list. The Make a Difference book is so dog-eared that I probably need to buy a new copy at this point. There's more of my writing in there than yours at this point, I think, Larry. And Larry and his team are active on LinkedIn. Go ahead and reach out and connect with them there. And you can also join one of my favorite things, which is Larry's Leadership Moments email newsletter, and get Larry's thoughts and takeaways from his conversations with entrepreneurs and leaders. If you're interested in learning more about Richardson Richardson, you can visit us at r&r.consulting and find other episodes of W.I.N, our webinars, blogs, white papers, etc. We're also active on LinkedIn, and go ahead and reach out to me, especially if you're interested in being a guest on W.I.N. Love to host you and love to talk to you and hear about your story. Larry, thanks so much for taking some time to come on and share a bit of your story with our listeners and the audience.
Well, Ian, thank you. You're a leader who's doing it right. I'm so excited about R&R and all that's going on there. And it's been an honor to be with you. And I appreciate who you are and how you're leading.
Oh, I appreciate you as well. And I'm looking forward to the next book. I will be one of the early readers.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. And until next time, take it easy.
Take care.
You've been listening to Win with Richardson Richardson. What's important now? We're so glad you've joined us and know you're one step closer to winning big in your business too. We'd love to connect with you outside of the show. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to connect@rnr.consulting. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you'll easily know when new episodes are available. Until next time, you can win, and we're here to help.